This is another podcast from Alpha Business Media. Okay, welcome everyone to the deep dive. When you think of Nepal, what's the first image that really pops into your head? I bet for most people, it's Everest, right? It's trekking, those huge mountain views.
Absolutely. It's iconic.
It's incredible stuff, no doubt.
Yeah.
But what if that picture, the one we all have, is only a small slice of the pie? What if the real opportunity in Nepal tourism, say, for the next couple of years, isn't just up on the highest peaks, but somewhere else entirely? Maybe someone unexpected.
That's pretty much the core argument, yeah. We've been looking at this really sharp analysis from Alpha Business Media, and their view is clear that traditional model, high volume trekking, it's vital, it's the foundation, but it's maybe not the only way forward anymore. The global traveler is changing fast, actually. And, well, Nepal's tourism industry needs to diversify if it wants to catch that next wave, capture that growth, and importantly, that value.
Okay, so our mission today is really to get into those Alpha Business Media findings. They've picked out, 5 specific areas? Niches that are often overlooked.
Exactly. 5 niches within Nepal's tourism scene that they believe are really well positioned for some serious growth and profit, too. Specifically looking at, 2025, 2026.
And this ties back to the traveler changing.
Yeah, the analysis really hammers this home. They see this emerging traveler as, often more affluent, definitely valuing the experience over just, ticking off a landmark.
Right.
They want deeper immersion. Comfort is becoming way more important. And crucially, they want a unique story, a really compelling narrative to take back with them. That old school Spartan trek doesn't always cut it anymore for this group.
Okay, so this change in demand, it opens up doors beyond the classic trek path. How does the report kind of break that down?
Precisely. Alpha Business Media argues this shift creates real space for high-value specialized offerings. While lots of the industry focuses on the traditional trekker, which is fine, there's this huge untapped potential.
Untapped how?
By tapping into these big global trends, things like wellness, mindfulness, the massive boom in remote work, and even, sophisticated culinary travel.
Gastronomy in Nepal.
Why?
Now, that is interesting. It definitely challenges my own picture. Okay, so the report has 5 concrete ideas based on all this.
5 specific business models, things you could actually set up and run, leveraging these trends and Nepal's, unique advantages.
Okay, let's jump in. The first one Alpha Business Media highlights is Himalayan glamping. That sounds exactly like what this comfort-seeking traveler you mentioned would go for.
It really is the core idea. Super simple. Luxury accommodation right there, smack bang in the middle of that incredible wilderness.
So forget the cold tents.
Forget cold sleeping bags. Forget basic lodges. Think more like, 5-star hotel standards, but under the stars, surrounded by mountains.
Okay, paint the picture. What does that look like on the ground, according to the report?
Well, the analysis gets pretty specific. They talk about spacious, really stylish structures, maybe geodesic domes, or high-end safari tents, big panoramic windows framing those insane mountain views.
Wow.
Inside, you're looking at proper king-size beds, comfortable ones, designer furniture even, real private bathrooms with reliable hot water, and top-notch service. Maybe even a personal butler.
Seriously? A butler?
Could be, for the right price point. Imagine waking up looking out at, say, Annapurna, but from a plush, warm bed. That's nature, yeah, but absolutely zero compromise on comfort.
Okay, I can see the appeal. Who are they aiming this at? Who pays for that?
The report points to a few key high-value groups, affluent couples, maybe newlyweds looking for something unique and romantic, families too, families who want the kids to experience nature, but without, the hardship of traditional camping.
Makes sense.
Then there are corporate clients, think high-end retreats, and wellness tourists, people who want that comfort alongside their meditation or yoga practice.
But hang on, setting up that kind of luxury, even in the foothills,
Yeah.
isn't that a massive logistical challenge in Nepal? Power, water, dealing with waste?
Yeah, that's a critical point, and the analysis tackles it head on. They stress that location is absolutely key. You'd want foothills, somewhere with those stunning views, but also relative accessibility for supplies.
Right.
Think areas around Pokhara maybe, or Nagarko, parts of the Annapurna viewpoints. Probably not trying this at 5,000 meters, but you're right, the infrastructure piece, that's the absolute bedrock, non-negotiable.
So what do they recommend?
The report emphasizes you need robust, autonomous systems. Reliable solar power is a must for electricity, for water heating, and critically, environmentally sound wastewater treatment. Proper eco-solutions. This is just about the luxury feel. It's about being viable operationally and, frankly, responsible in these beautiful, sensitive areas. You can't promise luxury if the lights go out or the hot water fails.
Okay, so you have to solve those core infrastructure problems first. Got it. What about the actual guest experience once they're there, beyond the fancy dome?
It's got to be high touch. The analysis suggests that things like a personal butler, or at least a dedicated concierge service. A professional chef is key, someone who can do excellent European dishes and showcase local cuisine.
So curated activities, too.
Yeah, exactly. Things like easy guided day hikes, maybe morning yoga or meditation sessions with that incredible view, campfires in the evening, maybe even some stargazing with a decent telescope. It's about making it effortless for the guests to just soak in the beauty and relax.
And why does Alpha Business Media think now is the moment for this in Nepal? What makes it timely?
Well, a few things line up. First, the global glamping market itself is just booming. They mentioned something like 15–20% growth annually. Huge.
Yeah.
Second, post-pandemic, there's been this massive surge in demand for secluded, comfortable outdoor experiences. People want space, nature, but also comfort and safety. And third, Nepal's landscapes. I mean, that's its unbeatable, unique selling point, right? This niche takes that incredible natural beauty and packages it for travelers willing to pay a real premium. The report suggests maybe 5, even 10 times more than your average trekker might spend per day. It's a clear strategy for attracting high-value tourism.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Blending Nepal's core asset, the landscape, with this global demand for comfy, unique outdoor stays. Okay, interesting. Let's move to the second niche they identified, gastronomic retreats. You hinted this challenges the usual idea of Nepalese food.
Oh, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
The analysis really shines a light on just how incredibly rich and, frankly, often hidden Nepalese food traditions are. Most tourists think dal bhat, momos. Yeah, that's kind of it.
Guilty as charged, probably.
Right. But think about the Newari cuisine in the Kathmandu Valley. So complex, so many courses, so ritualistic. Or the Thakali food from the mountain regions. Distinct, hearty, really flavorful. The core idea here is to make the food the main event. The destination itself, not just, fuel to keep you hiking.
An immersive food journey. Okay, who's this for? Who travels specifically for food in Nepal?
The report identifies a few groups. Obvious ones are foodies, people who literally plan trips around culinary experiences. Then you have enthusiasts who actually want to learn hands-on cooking classes, market tours. And also cultural travelers, maybe researchers, who understand that food is just such a fundamental window into a culture, its history, its social fabric.
And what would a program actually involve? The analysis gives an example, right? Like a
Yeah.
week-long thing.
Yeah, they sketched out a potential 5–7 day retreat. It's designed as a real journey. Maybe it kicks off with a guided visit to a local market with a chef understanding the produce, the spices,
Okay.
then practical hands-on master classes. Learning to make different kinds of momos, sure, but maybe also a traditional Newari samai bhaji set. That's a ceremonial platter with lots of different elements like beaten rice, smoked meat, spiced beans, pickles.
Sounds amazing.
Definitely. Visiting an organic farm or a tea plantation would be key, seeing where the ingredients come from. And a real highlight they suggested could be a master class with like a local elder, a grandmother figure maybe, someone who holds those really authentic, generations-old family recipes.
Adds a real personal touch.
Totally. And it could all culminate in this big gala dinner where the participants actually cook and share the dishes they've learned throughout the week.
That sounds incredibly engaging, deeply authentic. How would you actually set something like this up?
Well, you could potentially convert a small boutique hotel or partner with existing ones that have good kitchen facilities. The absolute crucial element, though, is collaboration. You need to find and work with genuinely talented, passionate local chefs, farmers, guides, people who are excited and proud to share their culinary heritage.
And the report stressed authenticity here, right? No dumbing it down for tourists.
Absolutely critical. The whole value proposition falls apart otherwise.
Right.
It has to be about showcasing the real cuisine, explaining the stories behind the dishes, their cultural significance, maybe even their use in festivals or rituals. That's what provides that deep immersion, that unique story the target traveler is craving.
So why is this a growth area for Nepal now?
Well, globally, gastronomic tourism is just huge. It's one of the fastest growing niches and often highly profitable. Nepal brings something totally fresh to the table, literally. It's a largely unexplored taste profile for the international market. That's a powerful, unique selling point.
Right.
It attracts a sophisticated audience, people willing to pay a premium for these authentic, deep experiences. And it leverages Nepal's amazing local produce, creating really high added value right there.
Fascinating. Two really distinct niches covered. Okay, next up, the third one, new generation wellness retreats. Now, Nepal already has this strong link with spirituality, yoga, meditation, but the report frames this differently, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's about going deeper than, say, just a drop-in yoga class for tourists. The analysis defines this niche as proper, full-fledged wellness and spiritual retreats. The key is combining authentic local practices, Buddhist, Hindu traditions, with modern healing approaches, maybe even psychological relief techniques.
Yeah.
It's positioned as a more holistic reboot.
A reboot. Okay, who needs this kind of reboot? Who's the target?
The report points to people under high stress. Top managers, entrepreneurs, maybe creatives feeling burnt out. Also individuals actively seeking self-discovery or deeper spiritual growth. And then you have the serious practitioners, people already into yoga or meditation who want to deepen their knowledge right at the source, guided by really experienced, authentic teachers.
And within that broad idea, are there specific focuses, specializations?
Yes, and specialization is probably key for credibility. The analysis suggests focusing on things like intensive vipassana, silent meditation retreats, maybe partnering with reputable monasteries in really serene locations like Pharping or Nama Buddha, places known for that. Or you could specialize in sound healing, using traditional Tibetan singing bowls that's very popular. Ayurvedic detox is another strong possibility, drawing on Nepal's Ayurvedic traditions. But, and this is a big but in the report, you absolutely need qualified, certified Ayurvedic doctors and practitioners. No cutting corners there.
Right, expertise matters. What about the practical side? Location seems crucial for peace and quiet.
Oh, completely non-negotiable for this niche. You need silence, you need that deep immersion in nature. Ideal spots.
Yeah.
Think secluded properties, maybe on the shores of quieter lakes like Bengyes or Fiwa, near established monasteries, or in really peaceful scenic parts of the Kathmandu Valley, away from the city buzz.
And the program itself, and the people running it.
The report emphasizes having a very clearly structured program. It might include things like daily morning meditation, yoga sessions, maybe lectures on philosophy, potentially some therapy elements, obviously healthy, often vegetarian food, and importantly, dedicated time for personal reflection. But the absolute most critical factor, according to this analysis, is the authenticity and depth of experience of the teachers. You cannot skimp here. You need actual monks or highly experienced certified yoga gurus, qualified Ayurvedic doctors, not people who've just done a quick online course. The premium price people pay is largely for access to this genuine expertise.
Makes sense. And comfort. Is that less of a priority for a spiritual retreat? People expect to rough it a bit, maybe?
Actually, the report says no. Comfort is still essential. Maybe not outright luxury, but definitely comfort. Clean, pleasant, minimalist rooms, ideally with private bathrooms. That should be the standard.
Yeah.
This audience isn't paying for suffering. They're paying for an environment that supports their deep inner work. Comfort facilitates that. Hardship can just be a distraction.
Okay, supportive comfort, not suffering.
Yeah.
Why is this seen as such a major growth area right now?
Well, the global wellness tourism market is just colossal, hundreds of billions of dollars. And post-pandemic, the demand for mental health support, stress reduction, spiritual connection, it's just exploded. It's massive. Nepal already has this powerful brand associated with spirituality. It has deep, authentic roots in these traditions. If you package that correctly, deliver it with genuine expertise and comfort, you can command a very significant price point. It taps right into a huge global need.
3 compelling niches down. Okay, the fourth one, Alpha Business Media Flags, is tied directly to that massive global shift we're all seeing. Digital nomad hubs.
Exactly. The remote work revolution isn't going away, right? It's pretty much permanent now. Millions of people can work from anywhere. So the report basically asks, why not Nepal?
Right.
But crucially, it's not just talking about a simple co-working desk. The concept they push is a full co-living and co-working hub, a place where remote workers can live comfortably, work productively, and this is key with reliable infrastructure, and build a genuine community.
Ah, the community aspect. That tackles the isolation that sometimes comes with remote work. Who are they picturing using these hubs?
Well, the classic digital nomads, obviously the programmers, designers, writers, online marketers who are already location independent, but also remote employees, maybe people whose companies let them work from anywhere for, say, a month or 3 at a time. They might want a change of scene, Even startup teams could be an inspiring, super cost-effective place to bunker down for an intense work sprint.
Okay, sounds good in theory, but the report is pretty blunt about the big historical roadblock here, isn't it? The elephant in the room.
Oh, completely blunt. They state it as absolutely non-negotiable. The primary hurdle that has to be solved is rock-solid, bulletproof internet and uninterruptible electricity.
The basics.
The absolute basics, but often the hardest to guarantee reliably in Nepal. This means dedicated fiber optic lines, probably multiple backup channels, powerful generators, plus inverters and battery systems for seamless switchover. The analysis is clear. Historically, unreliable infrastructure has been the main reason serious digital nomads haven't considered Nepal for longer stays. The core premise is, you solve this, you unlock the market.
Okay, so nail the infrastructure foundation first. Then what makes a hub really work, beyond just good Wi-Fi?
Well, the physical space needs smart design. The analysis talks about clear zoning, dedicated quiet areas for deep work, soundproof booths for video calls essential these days, but also collaborative zones, comfortable shared lounges, communal kitchens. And the actual living units need to be decent, comfortable.
And the community part you mentioned.
Critically important. The report really stresses this. You need someone dedicated, a community manager whose job it is to foster that sense of belonging. Organizing events like communal dinners, weekend trips, maybe skill-sharing workshops, inviting local experts for talks. People might come for the reliable workspace and affordable living, but the community is often what makes them stay and recommend it.
And where would be good locations for this?
Pokhara gets highlighted as potentially ideal. It's got that relaxed lakeside vibe, amazing access to nature for downtime, and already has a sort of base level of infrastructure you could build on. Kathmandu or Patan are also options, especially for those who prefer a more urban, culturally rich environment.
So why does the report think this is a major opportunity specifically now?
It's that unique combo Nepal offers. On one hand, an incredibly low cost of living compared to, say, Europe or North America.
Yeah.
On the other hand, unparalleled opportunities for what you do after work, hiking, exploring ancient cities, just relaxing by a lake.
Right, the lifestyle appeal.
Exactly. If you solve that core infrastructure problem, you suddenly become very attractive to a steady stream of pretty solvent clients who are happy to stay for weeks or months. Plus, and this is important timing-wise, the recent moves by the Nepalese government towards introducing specific digital nomad visas. That's a massive catalyst. It removes a lot of the previous legal gray areas and signals that Nepal is serious about welcoming this group.
Yeah, addressing those fundamental issues really could unlock huge potential there. Okay, that brings us to the fifth and final niche from the Alpha Business Media analysis, craft workshops.
Yeah, this one taps right into that growing traveler fatigue, which is, buying mass-produced souvenirs. People increasingly want authenticity, connection, participation.
So not just buying something, but
making it yourself. That's the core concept.
yeah.
Simple but powerful. Tourists get the chance to create a traditional craft item under the guidance of a genuine, skilled, local master artisan.
What kind of crafts are we talking about?
Could be lots of things Nepal is famous for, like learning the basics of thangka painting, those intricate Tibetan Buddhist scrolls, or pottery, maybe wheel throwing or hand building. Wood carving, Nepal has incredible traditions there, making traditional lokta paper, or even designing and making a piece of jewelry. The tourist doesn't just leave with an object, they leave with the whole story of making it, their own effort involved, and that personal connection with the artisan.
I love that. Who's the audience for this kind of hands-on experience?
The report suggests it appeals strongly to what they call mindful travelers, people seeking deeper cultural engagement, wanting to feel they're supporting local artisans directly. It's also fantastic for families, educational, fun, engaging for different ages, and obviously creative people generally, artists, designers, hobbyists, looking for inspiration or to learn a new skill in a really authentic environment.
How would you actually set this up? Do you need to build dedicated workshop spaces all over?
Actually, the analysis suggests a partnership model is often best and maybe more sustainable. The idea is to identify talented local artisans, maybe potters in Bhaktapur's Pottery Square, or woodcarvers, or silversmiths in Patan, who might be incredibly skilled but not great at marketing themselves to tourists.
Okay.
You, as the business, handle all the front-end stuff. The marketing, the online booking system, customer communication, maybe translation if needed. The artisan provides their workshop space, often it's their home or studio, and their expertise, their teaching. And critically, they get a fair, significant share of the revenue. It becomes a genuine win-win, empowering the local creator.
That sounds like a really responsible model, too. How would you structure the workshops themselves?
The report recommends offering different formats to suit different interests and time commitments. You could have a short, maybe 2-3 hour taster session, or a full day immersion, which could be really special if it includes, say, having lunch with the artist family. And for those really keen, you could even offer multi-day intensive courses to properly delve into a skill.
And getting the word out, reaching these mindful travelers.
Well, platforms that focus specifically on experiences, like Airbnb experiences, are mentioned as good starting points. High-quality visuals are absolutely key here. Photos and maybe short videos showing the creative process, the artisan at work, the enjoyment of the participants. That emotional connection is crucial for marketing this. And collaborating with travel agencies, especially those curating unique, off-the-beaten-path itineraries, would also be important.
Why is this particular niche seen as having strong growth potential?
Because it ticks so many boxes for current travel trends. It's genuinely responsible tourism directly supporting local artisans. Tourists get a unique, meaningful experience and a product that has a real story attached, made partly by them. Artisans get a potentially new, stable income stream and recognition for their valuable skills. That whole trend towards experiences over things, towards authenticity, towards participation, is only getting stronger. This fits perfectly.
Okay, so pulling all five of these together, Himalayan glamping, gastronomic retreats, new generation wellness, digital nomad hubs, and these craft workshops, what's the big picture takeaway? The overarching conclusion from Alpha Business Media's analysis.
The really clear message is diversification is key. The future growth engine for Nepal's tourism, especially high-value growth, isn't just about scaling up the traditional trekking market. It's about creating a wider range of diverse, high-quality, high-value added products and experiences. Experiences that really cater to this evolving, more discerning, more demanding global traveler.
And these five aren't just vague ideas. The report presents them as concrete, actionable business models that leverage Nepal's specific strengths.
Precisely. They're not plucked out of thin air. They're grounded in leveraging what makes Nepal unique, that unbelievable natural beauty, the incredibly rich cultural heritage, the deep spiritual roots. But, and this is the key packaging and delivering all that with the level of comfort, the authenticity, and the compelling unique story that today's travelers are increasingly looking for and willing to pay for.
So the main takeaway, really, for anyone looking at Nepal, whether you're thinking of visiting or maybe even starting a business there, is that the real frontier for growth might not be just pushing higher up the mountains. It might be in developing these specialized, high-quality niche experiences.
Yeah, recognizing that shift early and investing in quality, comfort, authenticity, these unique experiences. That's what the analysis suggests will shape the next decade of tourism in Nepal
And potentially reap the rewards.
and capture significant value in the process, yes.
Well, we've certainly taken a deep dive today into Alpha Business Media's analysis of five really promising, perhaps unexpected growth areas in Nepal's tourism future. We've looked at glamping, bringing luxury into the wild, gastronomy unlocking hidden culinary gems, wellness offering that deep spiritual and psychological reboot, digital nomad hubs brilliantly blending productive work with stunning scenery, and craft workshops facilitating authentic creation and connection.
It really highlights the incredible potential Nepal holds far beyond just the trekking trails, doesn't it? Offering these unique experiences that tap right into sophisticated global demands.
Absolutely. And maybe as we wrap up this deep dive, it leaves you, the listener, with a thought to mull over. Thinking about these trends we've discussed, the demand for comfort, authenticity, wellness, unique experiences, and Nepal's incredible assets. What other kinds of truly unique, deeply immersive, or highly specialized experiences might just be waiting to be discovered and developed? Not just in Nepal, perhaps, but in other similar destinations around the world that have that potent mix of nature, culture, and spirit. Something to ponder.